What's good, y'all? This Steph, and today we got a new episode of Going Forward. We here with my boy Pressure. What's good with
Yes,
you?
sir. What's
How
going on
you?
with you, man?
Chilling, man. I'm chilling. So he released a new EP recently. He just released a new video, and so he just stopped by to chop it up with us and talk and see what he got going on.
For sure, man. Let's get to it.
Yeah, how you today? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed, man. Definitely blessed.
Yeah, so I know we were talking a little bit earlier about the EP. I know you probably get more into that later, and you said you just released a new video. But before we get into all that, let's start off how you get started with everything, or tell people that not familiar with you a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so my name Pressure Online. I grew up here in Jersey City, and pretty much I started out doing poetry, which is a little different than like most, man. Been doing poetry since probably like fifth, sixth grade somehow. And what happened was my aunt had took me downtown Newark one day, which is a city in Jersey City Jersey, for those that don't know. And what happened was we had, like they used to have the bootleggers outside. This is back in the day, man. So it was a CD that was called 50 Cent Instrumentals. I'm a big G Unit fan.
Okay.
I had no idea what instrumentals meant. I thought it was classic records, because it was a Max. There was a whole bunch of records on there I knew of him, so she brought it for me. And what's crazy is we popped it into the car. There was no lyrics on there. We was bugging. All right, so at this age, I'm like probably like 10,
Okay.
10, 11. And my aunt felt some type of way about that. She was trying to bring the CD back. And I told her, I said, nah, like, we going to keep it. And what happened was I went home and eventually like started saying his lyrics on top of the joint. And then I incorporated my poetry. And that's how I learned how to start flowing. And from there, that's when the music took a life of its own.
That was it. So what was the first record what was the first song you wrote, first song you performed? What was the transition from, I know you say, okay, you did with the instrumentals, but what made you say, okay, I'm actually take this seriously, I'm actually get started, put my music out for people to listen to?
I think I recorded my first song. I remember the title too. It was called Champ Is Here. That song was trash, man. I'll be honest with you. The song was trash, but I probably was like in sixth grade when I did that. And I was introduced to my mother's coworker who had a studio at the time, which was very rare to find, back in 2006. And no, actually, that was 2005. My bad, like 2005. And she had brought me over to his studio. He recorded me, and then he had handed me over to relatives of his that was like multi-platinum producers. They by the name of Dream Team. They from Jersey,
Okay.
and they work with like Stephanie Mills, LL, 50, and all that. So they took me under the wing young, and they pretty much like helped me like with strong song structure. And we had put a mixtape together called Apply That Pressure. This was like 2009. So that's when it really like started taking off.
So yeah, that was about to say, so how was your writing at that point? Like, you feel like that poetry really helped get you that structure for writing music, or like to get like the idea down? Like any poetry you read, or any poets you looked into to actually get an idea of writing? Because that's a talent to have. So how did you develop that talent?
Well, I learned that back in school as far as like the format of poetry. As far as lyrics, like rapping, the 50 Cent blueprint really helped me out a lot. Like when I was younger, because that's all that I would listen to. Like R.I.P. my Uncle Pistol, we would take rides in the summer from Jersey to Maryland, and he would play nothing but their mixtapes. So I think that was what really like helped me structure everything.
That really like gave you like your idea of music and like
Yeah.
your love for music, you would say?
Definitely, man. Like I always loved the freestyle stuff, but going back to your question about writing, I was doing a lot of freestyles, heavy. I wasn't really making songs back then. So as time went on, I definitely had to learn and take heed to making songs, because you have to know how to make a song.
Yeah, so you obviously, from freestyling to radio music, that's definitely a big difference.
Right.
So at that time, you said you was young. You said you were like 14 at the time. You said?
Yeah, when I put out the
really
Apply
young.
the Pressure mixtape, I was 14.
So at that time, did you even know like who you was around? Like, I know, like you said, like you you say he brought you to other relatives, like,
Right.
so it was just more like a happenstance. But did you know, like, oh, when you was around, like, oh, these people, they really like moving and shaking the industry, like,
Well, yeah, because the internet was pretty much on the come up at that time, so I was able to Google and figure out who's who. Like even if I didn't know certain artists they work with, you know, the plaques don't lie. So I already knew what I was up against. And me, I was like heavy on the computer when I was young, so anything I didn't know, I figured it out.
got you. Did you so how did you like get it, like not get into music? Did you like make your own beats, or you just writing music like you said? So after you made Applying Pressure, what did you do creatively on that? Did you make the beats or anything like that?
Yeah, interesting you say that, man. I actually never said this on the podcast, but I used to make beats.
Word.
Yeah, I used to definitely make beats, man. And I actually came across some in my email the other day. I was literally going through looking for something else.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man. Like, you know, I was heavy on sampling, but I say back in, it was just like 2007 when I originally started recording myself first. I went to a store called Radio Shack. They ain't even out no more.
I know about that no
so
more.
yeah, man, people that's tuned in, they young, they don't know what's going on. But I went to Radio Shack, had got me like a little $20, $30 microphone, something cheap. And I was recording on this program called Cool Edit Pro, like some throwback joint. And learn how to record myself, man. And that kind of really helped me sustain as being independent because I didn't have to depend on nobody to lay my thoughts down, you know?
So you, for the most part, you say you like self-taught.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I never went to college for nothing I know, but a lot of things was trial and error, man. I just had to experience some good times and bad times. You know?
After Applying Pressure, so that's when you got into videography, or how did you make that jump?
So the transition came when, at this point, this is when like Soulja Boy was out and he was doing his thing, and as an artist, you had to understand the importance of content. So I wasn't financially stable to like have someone shoot my videos and all that. Like, you know, I was fortunate to have someone help at that time, but I pretty much was on it like, if I want to be able to build and get to a point where my face is out there and all that, I remember asking my mother on Christmas for a little camera, and I started shooting my own videos, right? Sitting it on a stand or tripod or having somebody hold it. And then when people in my neighborhood seen what I was doing for myself, it became a service. So from that point on, that's when people were just hitting me to do videos, and that's when the transition went from music to rap, you know?
Now, so if my timeline correct from what I heard, this is like before like social media, like really big, like Instagram.
Right, yeah. This you talking 2010?
Yeah, so you was ahead of the game, if you say like.
Yeah, man.
So what you like putting the videos on YouTube, or like people just saw your work and just like, yo, like.
Well, it was word of mouth, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, this is a time and place where I was putting in work freestyle-wise and visually. So it was just spreading like wildfire. I ain't even have to do run no ads, none of that back then. It was, you know, high school, where I was from, all of that stuff tied in together, and it just kept me busy.
But that always works out anyway. So which one would you say you like more? Like I know, obviously I know you said rapping. That's obviously you started off with that first.
Right.
But what about videography that really like intrigued you?
You know what I like about doing videography, as well as I do graphics,
Okay.
like I know how to design and stuff. I'm a creator, and the point of being a creator sometimes is not only to bring to life of what you see or what you have in your head, but I even like the idea of being able to create or capture someone else's moment. Like I'm a selfless person when it comes to that, so I love being able to do someone's wedding, or you know, it's not just me. Like now I have a team, you know, but starting out on my own, like I always love the idea of being able to help other people.
Okay.
You know? So that's what really kept me there.
I know a lot of artists, they always say, oh, they sensitive with their work, and I know I am too sometimes. Like 'cause
Right.
I write too. I write like, you know, stories and stuff like that. So people read my work, I get a little sensitive. Like, oh, you know, you critique it. How you deal with that? Like, do you get sensitive? People see like your music or your videos, and they might not see the vision you had. How you deal with that?
Well, to be completely honest, I mean, with a name like Pressure, you better be able to take the pressure. That come with everything. So it don't bother me. I've had some times where people really like what I was doing, and there was times where people was like, "Yeah, I don't know," and you can't let none of that stop you at the end of the day, because that's one person or two people, 5 people, 10. It's billions of people in the world, so somebody's gonna like it.
It's not go about everybody's.
Yep.
So now your music when you first started off, how would you compare that to your music now?
My music back then was more like just trying to be the best rapper ever. Punchline rap, all that. You know what I mean? Just saying the dopest stuff, whether it made sense or not. My music now is more authentic. I grew into myself. I'm comfortable with being transparent, like the name of the EP, talking about relationships, cheating, whatever it be. I'm just in a different space now that, of course, as a teenager, you wouldn't be as vulnerable to,
So so to go on my next question, take us on that journey of how you came up with the name Transparent. How did you write the music for it? Like what was your story at that time that made you get into that space to create that project?
Got it. Well, the process of Transparent was a lot of things happened in a duration of time from when I was younger to now, obviously. And as you get older, things change. Bills, relationships, friendships, whatever. And there's a breaking point for everything. There's a time where, you get to a point where you're in a situation where you have to make a decision. And sometimes that's letting people go, for better or worse. And when I was making Transparent, my whole mind frame was, with everything that's bothering me, is like illustrated, because somebody else may be going through the same thing. So don't limit yourself because you're scared of offending people around you or whatever. Like, the truth is the truth, and you gotta tell your story while you could,
Did you, with this project, did you get back to the producing side? Did you make any of the beats for this project, or you just focus on writing?
Yeah, so my producing career honestly lasted maybe like 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah, I had no business trying to make beats, man. And the reason I say that is because when you writing your music, recording it, mixing it, trying to make the beat, do the artwork, get the video shot, edit it, that's too much for one song. So, producing, I definitely cut that short years ago. I was just more on the video side.
Got it. So what's your team looking like now? Who helped you get Transparent together?
Oh, man, the kid Ed, man, my guy Eddie, shout out to him. He filmed all my videos, even from the project previous to Transparent, which was called Fear. Eddie is like my visual barber. I don't go to nobody else. Eddie get me right every time. He already know how I like the scenes and everything. So, yeah, me and Eddie.
How was you able to become vulnerable enough to even become transparent, no pun intended, on the project? Because like you said, all your music before was just it's just for people putting it out there, whatever people like, whatever people gravitate to. So to actually be I'm actually going to put something that, this is vulnerable to me. How was you able to do that?
Well, just as a quick backstory, before I did Transparent came out late 2022. I had a project called Fear right before that. And what happened was my right lung collapsed randomly, right? I don't smoke or drink, right?
Yeah,
Never did, right? So when you laying on a hospital bed, people don't realize this, and you don't know how you got there. It's different if you had a major traumatic, collision. It caught me off guard, and it changed me mentally, and it made me realize that I'm not in as much control as I think I am of life. And, you better tell your story before someone else try to tell it for you, because they're going to fabricate it, they're going to change it, switch it up to make a good story. But as that happened, and in between time of 2020 when I dropped Fear to now, dealt with stuff with the law, bad relationships, whether it's females, people I grew up with. It's things that change as you grow, and as you grow, as Nipsey said, everybody can't go, and it's unfortunate because some people you'll outgrow and it hurts you. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to have the idea of I can't deal with this person like that no more. So transparent definitely was a title that came up because I felt like it was time to be honest. You know, as you get older, you don't really want nobody to make the same mistakes that you did. You know.
That's a lot. So how was that whole? How long was you healing from when you was in the hospital? So how long was that process from when you started writing Transparent and you got that out? How long was that whole process?
So when I did Fear, it was called Finding Excuses and Reasons. That's the acronym for it. I was hospitalized for like 4 or 5 days. I had a chest tube. They had, yeah, man, it's crazy. If you see the album cover, or for people that's watching, they could go pull it up. That's a real picture that my mother took when I was in the hospital, and they just put the tube in me. I was hospitalized for like I said, like 4 or 5 days, and the gap between 2020, because I dropped it the same week the pandemic happened, like when everything shut down.
Oh, so this was early.
Oh yeah, man, it messed me up because I couldn't do videos and nothing.
Yeah.
Like I was stiff for months, so I had to just strictly work off of everybody being home and capitalizing from that. But yeah, that time period from 2020 to 2022, like I said, it's just real life events that happened in between time that just made me feel like this is like a volcanic eruption. It's like, man, it had to come out.
So now all this was going on during the pandemic for you.
Most of it.
Yeah. So to
Yeah,
add
most of
on to you already health, the world going on through the health, then you already got your personal stuff going on. So like you said, that making this project was like a therapy for you in a sense.
Exactly. It was very therapeutic. That's the word I was going to use too.
Yeah. Word. So how do you like help other people with that message now? Do you share that story with other people? Do you let people know like nah, this music is this different for me? Like how do you relay that message to your fans now?
Well, now it's ironic that you asked that too, man. Shout out to my guy Ibn. That's a couple people that I work with like throughout the city, like Jersey City and North. I have went to schools and talked to kids. I have done back to school giveaways. Even on my page, I post like motivational stuff from time to time. So I communicate that way. And a lot of times when I'm out, whether I'm doing a podcast, a show, I kick it with people, whether it's recorded or not recorded, and I just give back, whether it's information, advice. Like, so that's how I kind of push the message out there of, you know, don't get stuck in the idea of like there's a ceiling to what you do, you know.
Okay, word. So going back into like when you like making the project, what do you like more? Do you like making the video? You like writing the songs? I know you said producing. That was a quick stint for you. But
Right.
if you have any part of that, do you like that part? Like what's your favorite part of the creation process?
That's a good question, man. I would say writing the music is definitely a form of therapy because it's things I write that even like when I'm in the booth, sometimes I'll be freestyling and things I say even surprise me. I definitely surprise myself with a lot of things that come out, but I would say that portion, it might be 60-40, man. And I think about it, recording is a big part of the creation. Like you really taking nothing and making something out of it. But visually, I love that part slightly more now that I think of it because I can help you see what I'm saying. So whether I want to make a short film based upon a song that I made, which I've done before, that's always doper to me.
Yeah. Like you get your, like you said, your vision.
Yeah, you get your point across way different.
Translate it to everybody else.
True.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely dope. Now, have you rather? You wrote for other artists or you made music videos for other artists? Like
I done both. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Who you worked with for? Anybody? Any names that we know of?
I probably can't say on camera
can't say right now.
of who I
Okay,
wrote
okay,
for,
okay.
but yeah, I wrote for people, man, and got some nice little, you know what I mean, paper.
Got it.
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Like, you know, they call it hush money.
Yeah,
Where you
yeah.
just gotta write it and keep it moving.
I know a couple. I know with when you're writing music for artists, I know you got a lot of NDAs, so I know, like I said, you can't really talk too much.
Yeah.
But How is that process? Like, I know how is that for you?
It's difficult. You know why? It's because, well, it's difficult and it's easy. I'm gonna tell you why. It's difficult because you have to get in the mind frame of someone else. Like, for example, I write for a female. Writing for a female is clearly difficult because what she's feeling, what she's thinking, what she would say, I don't. It's hard to think for a female. You know what I mean? So it's challenging. So we got to sit down, have a conversation. I got to jot it down like a therapist, and then take what she give me and put it in a form of lyrics. You know, it's easy because there's always a certain type of music that I personally wouldn't make. So it's kind of like being an actor in a movie. It's like you get to finally say things that you wouldn't say or project to the world, but someone else that may be their style or body of work. So it's half and half.
How would you say making music videos for other people? So like now that's actually the vision. So I know you're writing the music, like you said, okay, that's a little different. They don't really know who wrote it, but now when you actually make the video, they know like okay, you made it. So which one you like more with that, and how you like that?
Well, making music videos for other artists is like, it's simple to me. I don't know why, but it's always easier for me to help other people than it is myself. Like when it comes to me putting visuals for my own music, sometimes I'd be sitting there like you overthink it because you want it to be so perfect. But for someone else, they'll put their trust into me or my company, and I'll sit down at a round table and I'll be like, man, look, I think I see this, but we bring up like a storyboard and we figure it out. But I think it's also easy because as an artist, I know how an artist should be viewed. I know the angles, I know the type of shots that you definitely need to capture that feeling. So that makes it easier too, filming for other people.
Word. Now tell us a little bit more about the Green Ranger, the new video you put out. Now when did that come out actually?
Green Ranger was released in February of 2023, and that video, me and the guys, we outside, we just turning up, and it's simply because the type of record that it is, with me talking about kind of just getting to that boiling point. You know what I mean? Like, the pressure of life will really sit on your shoulders, man. You don't, like I said, you don't have control of certain things that happen, and you get to a point where you just want to let it out. You know what I mean? Because keeping it in ain't no good. You know what I'm saying? So I put my heart into that one.
How was that? How long was it to make the video? How was that? It sounded like it was a good time. I'm sure we're going to put the video somewhere here.
For sure.
Everybody see it.
Yeah, man. We did I'm going to tell you something, too, that nobody else knows. Exclusive information.
We got all the exclusives today.
Yeah, definitely, man. You got to. On Transparent, the EP, I put out 4 songs.
Okay.
And I shot 2 videos out of the 4. One called Mountains, one called Green Ranger. What's interesting is, people don't know, I shot both of those videos in the same day. Like, me and Eddie, we just got it out the way. I had a crew of people for the daytime, crew of people for the nighttime. And, yeah, like, I'll show you too, man. It'll bug you out, but I literally shot it the same day. We did it, both videos only took about, like, 2-3 hours of shooting. But it was cold. It was cold when we filmed it in January, man. But I think everybody that came out there and participated, because it was like 20 degrees. Probably a little below that, yeah, like at nighttime too. So, I'm thankful for like people that support me.
And you obviously shot it in Jersey.
Yeah, we did Mountains in Passaic or Patterson, New Jersey, and we did Green Ranger in Newark.
Yeah, so it definitely was cold around
Yeah,
that time.
definitely.
It was definitely cold around that time in January. So what's next for you in music? What you see going on for you in music? Next?
Well, every Sunday, I drop a freestyle on my page. I have a series called Live in the Booth. So kind of like a Rap City theme. I go in there, throw a beat on and go crazy. So that's what I'm doing consistently. As far as what's next, I'm thinking about a Transparent Part 2. Because the EP did so well. I definitely want to do a Part 2 because I see what people like from me. And as I made all different styles of music, this the one that took a life of his own. So I'm definitely thinking about working on a Transparent Part 2. And also got something coming too with a producer named Jugs.
Okay.
I don't want to speak on it too heavy, but we got something.
Jugs was in the previous episode, so again, y'all go see that link somewhere here. So
shout out to Jugs, man. He got some production for me, so we got something serious.
Okay. Any other videos you go put out for transparency, or you can't talk about that right now?
I'm in limbo.
Not sure yet.
I feel like I want to do one more, but from looking at the stats, I see what people like, but I'm like, I don't know, man. It's tricky because, when you make your own decisions for certain things, you'll always be in your own way. You'll be like, I don't want to do that, or you'll be like, no, I need to do that. So I don't know, man. I could say no and get up tomorrow, call Eddie, be like, let's do
Ready
it.
to do it.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned you say you like the giveaways and like the drives and all that stuff. Tell me a little bit more about that before we wrap up. Any do anything more in the future, or how was like your biggest event that you had with the drives? Like, tell us a little bit more about that and what you did for the community.
Well, the back to school giveaways is always like the biggest to me, simply because there's so many parents in need of like supplies for their kids. Just like I had an unfortunate situation last year, and my steppops passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you, man. My brother and sister, I mean, they got me, they got my mother and all that, but there are kids that lose both of their parents in a year, car crash, anything. So it's always people that need something. And I love it, man. I love the energy of being able to like help someone else smile and help them out, because you don't really know what other people going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, people see the outer layer, they see the nice car, or they may see the nice clothes, whatever it be. But at the end of the day, we all human, man. We can't ever leave that part out, and that's what transparent is about. It's like just being real with yourself. But the back to school giveaways definitely, I would say, is the highlight of all giveaways. Like, I love going to the schools too. I went to colleges and talked to the kids there, but the kids, man, the kids is everything.
You feel like your upbringing had a lot to do with that? Like, what made you get into want to do that?
The back to school giveaway?
Yeah, like good.
What made me, just the idea of knowing that everybody needs something in life. You know what I mean? Like, if everybody had everything, then we wouldn't need to sit down here, have a conversation. We wouldn't need to go to the gas station. Like, if you had everything, it's like life wouldn't even rotate correctly. So I just love the idea of helping people. That's it.
So where that confidence come from for you to want to go out and just help everybody and like to kind of go back to my other question, like that vulnerability to want to help everybody get the message across and really like where did that come from? Was it during the time when you was in the hospital? Did you think that probably gave you that passion to want to give back?
Yeah. Definitely having a second chance at life. If anybody know how it feel to be in a traumatic situation, like having a second chance at life definitely would open your eyes up a little different and make you more fortunate and grateful. But I would say the confidence came from, like, I was fortunate to have both of my parents growing up. A lot of people in hip hop don't even embrace their fathers. Like, my father was there for me. I'm not one of them guys that's gonna sit here and make it seem like the worst. And I encourage people to build a relationship with their parents. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, he had his trials and tribulations where he's, incarcerated or here. But, you gotta love people for who they are at the end of the day. And my peers that I grew up around in my projects, they weren't fortunate. A lot of them don't know their fathers. A lot of their fathers just passed away or, in jail. So the confidence comes from having love for people that, like, I didn't have brothers and sisters growing up. Like, my brothers and sisters came later. So I was the only child, even in high school. You know what I'm saying? So my community was my family. So if you struggling, you crying, or you going through something, and you down, or your mother ain't really got it like that was motivation to me from the start. Because I just felt like, damn, like, wow, I'm fortunate to get toys on Christmas and maybe my boy not. You know what I'm saying? So it's just being open-minded, mindful of other people's situation.
Word. That's dope. One thing I want to touch on, I know you mentioned earlier that kind of caught me. You say you don't smoke and drink. Now, growing up in Jersey City, I'm from Jersey City, that's pretty hard to come by. So how you do that? And do you encourage other people to follow that suit? Because especially in the African American community, everybody always say, menthol cigarettes, or, drinking, that's really like, downfall for us. So how you do that? How you stay strong to not go down that
I got you, man. That's nobody asked me that before either. That's interesting. Wow. I would tell you this. in life, everything is a choice, right? I never, and people that choose to smoke or drink, that doesn't mean they're followers. Some people use it as a escape route, and then they may be going through something. You don't know what starts someone with a habit. My personality, my personality is, I have an addictive personality. So if I like to do something, I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't want to do something where I feel like I'm not in control. I hate feeling like I'm not in control, even though I know I'm not.
Yeah.
But I don't. I know a substance to make me feel like I don't have control, or my awareness is not, like, I'm a very observant person. To not feel like I'm on point, it bothers me.
Okay.
Like it does not allow me to get out of pocket. So, and then when my lung collapsed in 2017, that was like, oh yeah, I never smoking. I ain't got a reason to do hookah. Not gonna happen. You know. But I would say this too. With drinking, maybe I just experienced a bad amount of episodes, but everybody that I've been around that I've seen drink, not everybody, a great portion, you know, they become monsters, man. And it just made me be like, I don't want to be like that.
I know a lot of people. I know, I hear a lot of adults now saying like, they want to be social, they want to go out, but they don't have a lot of events that don't involve alcohol. Or
Right.
they don't, involve people that don't smoke, so like they feel like they don't have like a spot to fit in.
Right.
So, do you feel like that sometimes? I mean, it sounds like you already have your own lane, so I feel like you ain't really worried about that. But how do you deal with that?
I do feel like that.
Okay.
Every video I shoot, whether it's in the hood or whatever, people smoking. I go to these events, like I've shout out to DJ Walla and Drewski, like they have me rolling loud, Summer Jam, like I do all these backstage, BTS and all of that, behind the scenes for those that don't know. Everybody's smoking, everybody's doing something, and you do feel like the outcast. But at the same time, I guess painting the narrative of like being your own man and standing out is also important to me, because it's about what audience you're trying to attract. You know, I'm not going for like Nickelodeon and Disney crazy, but at the same time, it's like, why not be a statistic of what people expect? Like, I don't even have tattoos. People see me, they be like, "Yo, you rap and you don't got tattoo? You don't smoke? You don't?" And it messed people's head up. But I like that idea of being unpredictable.
Nah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I respect that, because it's like you said, you don't really know too many people nowadays that, you said not followers, but that don't have a tattoo, that don't drink, that don't smoke. So.
Right, it's just common stuff.
Yeah, so to have your own lane, that's dope. You mentioned Summer Jam. You gonna be on there, the stage coming up, Summer Jam is coming up?
Man, Ebro, stop playing. Them guys stop playing. We gotta get right, man.
Ebro, stop playing. What, you gotta hit up pressure? What's going
man.
on?
But I tell you what, though, I want to do shout out. I definitely want to shout out Walla. I want to shout out Drewski, and I want to shout out DJ Spazzo. He actually works under Flex too. They've been playing Green Ranger. Like, they've been looking. I'm talking about Friday nights, Thursday night, and Sunday. Like, the love been like unconditional, man.
So it's not just on Apple Music, Spotify, or the DSPs. You can actually hear it on the radio. It's on play on the radio right now.
Yeah, it like definitely on nighttime radio.
Okay.
Definitely, I get a lot of the underground play. Haven't hit the mainstream pocket yet, but it's a business though. It's definitely it's a process. Like when I started learning the game, it's a process. But I'm just fortunate, man. Just like I said, just doing good business and having great relationships, and everything that happened when it's supposed to.
Keeping relationships in the industry, I know that might be challenging, because everybody always say like people like are finicky. When you get a certain level, and I know y'all go back to our last episode with Jugs on here. He's real. He keep it real all the time. That's his motto. So do you feel the same way? Like you said, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't got no tattoos, so you really true to yourself. How do you maneuver when you feel like, maybe not you don't feel that way, but everybody's like in the industry, like you deal with a lot of fake people or people that don't really got the right intentions. How you maneuver that way?
Well, interestingly, I go in with my heart not attached to anything that happens. You know what I'm saying? I don't get caught up in my feelings about things, because at the end of the day, somebody may do you a favor now, and they'll have a baby on the way, you don't even know, and they'll be like, yo, so this the tab for this. I definitely got hit with some blindsided conversations, and I'd be like, damn, why you coming like that? But it's business at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like people will pretend to be your friends because you're valuable. You know, you have things that they may need. It's really about knowing how to have leverage in general. It's not even just the music industry. You could be a construction worker or whatever. This is how people get raises at jobs. Like it's about knowing your worth. You know what I mean? And once you know that part about yourself, I think everything else will flow the way it's supposed to. It'll separate what type of people you deal with. Like, for example, if you're shooting videos, right, and you shoot videos in the hood, and let's say you charge like $300 for videos, that's real. That's reasonable for people that get it how they live. But they'd be like, man, I can pay them $3. But it may come with a lot. You got to be on the block. You don't know who they beefing with. Your back turned while you're shooting the video and all that. You raise your price 700, 800. Now you separating yourself from a culture of people that will put you in harm's way unintentionally. So that's what I mean by with the business, like just knowing your worth. It'll keep you out of those places where you'll minimize the issue.
So speaking of that, and that brings to another question I got. Any crazy experiences you had shooting a video?
Yeah.
Or what was the most memorable one? You like? Okay, yeah, nah, I can't.
Oh man,
I
I could talk about it now because the case closed. But
it's the case.
yo, man,
That's the
these
case.
cops, man, these cops show like when I tell you, yo, I was with a group of guys. I was just hired as the director. This is 2018.
Okay.
There was a BB gun at the video shoot in a book bag in a U-Haul truck. They did an illegal search, just ran down on the shoot roll. They seen where the U-Haul truck was parked. It had the hazard lights on, so they knew it possibly belonged to whoever was filming. Just being a director got me jammed up. I didn't have to go to court for that, man. I had a fine that they was trying to hit me with, but my DNA wasn't on. I never touched it. It's like, stop. And then y'all did an illegal search. So they knew they was in the wrong.
This was a BB gun.
A BB gun, like, wasn't loaded or nothing.
Damn.
When I found out after the fact. And I was just like, yo.
Do you know about it at the time? Like,
no, I didn't know it was there. That's another thing, too. Again, it was in a book bag in a U-Haul truck. So I don't remember why the U-Haul truck was rented because we wouldn't use it in the shoot or nothing because it's not even in the video. But just, man, certain areas when you're filming, whether you're the artist or the director, and I don't want to say it as if like all cops are bad. You know what I mean? Like I hate that narrative. But what I am going to say is, respectfully speaking, some people just never had power before and they go to the furthest extent.
They don't know how to deal with it.
That could be a principal, that could be a supervisor, anybody. So it's not just targeting cops, but it's something about people with a little bit of authority that, you know,
Goes to the head.
they'll violate you if they could, man. And my experience is, I'm still going through something, but can't speak on that one. But it's frustrating, man, because you just African American, you just trying to figure it out. You ain't trying to harm nobody, none of that. But it's people out here that, you know, they come for blood, and you better know it.
To go back to what you were saying, like how you sound like just being maybe not, I don't want to say the wrong crowd, but they can unintentionally put you in a situation you don't want to be in.
Right.
And so do you feel like that situation was something similar, like what you just said, like with that? It was just
well, yeah, you know, I know the guys, you know what I'm saying? I went to school with them and all of that, so I know it wasn't intentionally done.
Yeah.
Especially that it wasn't like it was on a person.
Exactly.
It wasn't that. It's just the idea of, it taught me to sharpen up on business, to understand about permits, to understand about do's and don'ts, understand what area you in. You know, again, becoming more observant and just understanding everything. When you leave your house, like you should be aware of what's in front of you, you know?
Word, okay. So now getting to wrap it up, going forward. So I know you say you still be doing the book bag drive, but you got more music coming out. You thinking about doing Transparent 2? You still unsure?
Yeah, I think I do. I think I definitely want to do it. I think the people would like that based upon the response I got from this one. Yep.
Anything else you see with like what's the next year looking like for you? What's the rest of the year? We still early in the year. It's still March. So what's the rest of this year looking like for Pressure?
Content, videos, I actually want to set up to do a college tour. Because originally I was going on one the same time that my lung collapsed. I had got knocked off, man. That stung me, man, because I'd never been on a college tour, but I definitely want to travel around the East Coast and lock that in just to be out and like physically be there with the people. Because from looking at the analytics, like it's people all over that be supporting, like listening to my music. And I also want to tell artists this too. Me being from Jersey does not mean that I have to get the support or what's the word? Like Jersey's obligated to support. It's like, yo, if you get the love somewhere else, yo, take advantage. I don't care if it's Arizona, Pennsylvania. Like, man, when I say Jersey show love, but when I say it's people in them in the middle America, it's some people that they go hard, man.
Which one caught you off guard the most, like an area that you like?
That support it. I'll be honest with you, it's not even in America.
I heard some people say
Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, man, it was women that was. Damn, I had Italy, Africa, UK, and somebody I was just talking to in my DM too, man. They from Belgium, somewhere, man. But I be getting thrown off, man, when I always ask people where they from. India. Yeah, it bugged me out because I'm like, these people barely speak English clear.
Yeah.
And the fact that they even like something from me, like, that's what blew my mind. Like, the Americas, like, it ain't nothing. Yeah.
Word. So, I mean, it sounds like you're doing a lot. So, how do you keep up with all this?
It's difficult, man. I don't even have a manager, man.
Yeah, you're doing a lot.
I've been doing everything on my own,
how
man,
you
for
fit
the
the time
longest.
for us? How you get here today?
You know why? It's because I really want to do this in life. You know what I mean? People make time for who and what they want to make time for. It's just like a female.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or just like a guy that he has a lady. You definitely going to make time for what you want to make time for. And I also realized that everything is not about the money.
Okay.
I love the art. I love the idea of sitting down and whether you become a new fan today or 10 people watching today become a new fan of what I got going on and potentially buy merch, whatever like that. That's what's important, you know what I'm saying? Like, to have 1 million followers and $1 million, I'm not saying it's not realistic, but you got to start small, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to deal with what's in front of you. So that's what keeps me motivated. That's what make me get up, set my alarm clock. Like, time management is everything, because if people know that you take your stuff serious, they'll address you the same way, you know?
Word.
So it's no podcast too big, too small. There's no stage too big, too small. I didn't perform for thousands of people. Now I perform for like 50 people. You know what I'm saying? And I can see the janitor in the back and there's gaps in the crowd. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get egotistical when it comes to that, because as much as we all want to get paid for what we do and what we love, the reality is we all start out doing it for free. So you can't forget that part.
Where you came from.
Definitely.
Word. It was definitely great talking to you. We had a great conversation.
Thank you, man.
Before we wrap up, you gotta let everybody know where to find you at, your music, Green Ranger, your past EPs. Let them know everything.
For sure, man. So y'all definitely can check me out on all DSPs right here.
Yeah.
All right, what it do with this, what's been happening? It's your boy Pressure, aka Mr. PressureOnline.com. Woo! And yeah, man, y'all can check me out on everything. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, whatever you got, Amazon Prime, let's get it. Pressure Online, Transparent, the EP is out right now. Fear, the album is out right now. Silent Screams, y'all can go back, make sure y'all go to the YouTube, all of that. Man, check in with me, man. Definitely got some content I believe y'all definitely would love from me to you, you know?
Word. And again, my name is Steph. You can find me on Instagram, Hollyhood Steph. That's Hollyhood, 2F Steph. Again, thank you, Press, for stopping by. I want to thank Studio AGB for hosting us today in this great studio we got here. This was episode 8, so we getting up there. We definitely getting up there. But we're going to check y'all out next time. Thank you for stopping by going forward.
For sure, man. Going forward podcast. Shout out to my guy Steph. Shout out to my guy Greg, man. Got me up in here looking litty.